All right, it's our first vlog for Paramount Barbell Club. Just covering the warm-up here. Everybody's loosening up, just some general stuff that I just have the lifters do their favorite thing. It's all individualized right now. And then here we have a bar warm-up. They're kind of in between here. You'll see Nick in the back there. He's starting the first part, which is a muscle snatch from the hip. And then he's going to go behind the neck press, and then Mike in the front here, he's doing the snatch drops. On the 5th rep, I have them hold for about 5 seconds and finish it out with 2 snatch or socks presses. I really enjoy this warm-up, and I have all my lifters do it. Here's Gabe starting his first round. I usually have the lifters do anywhere from 2 to 3 rounds, depending on feel. Really gets them to work on the positions of getting the elbows high, snapping the wrist, and then we go behind the neck there for the press to get the shoulders warm, and then we finish it out with a snatch drop to allow them to get the speed and the catch under the bar, followed by 2 more socks press just to finish off warming up those shoulders. Alright, here we have Janice working on her warm-up as well, going through the movements. She's got a great bottom position there. Alright, so now the next step after the initial bar warm-up is to do a power snatch from the hip and then a full snatch from the hip. This is the next progression in our warm-up. So Gabe's go ahead and demonstrating that right here. Just did a power snatch from the hip. Now he's doing the full snatch. You'll see what we're working on here with this warm-up is just getting tall, right? Opening up those hips, getting tall, getting vertical. You get that bar to come straight up your body, just like Janice is demonstrating here. Getting tall, right? We want to drive the hips up by pushing through the ground, through our heels, right? There we go, one from the knee there. This is the next progression down. There's Mike. So Mike is a self-taught lifter, ex-football player. He's been lifting for about a year on his own, and he does have some bad habits. This is his 4th or 5th session working with me now. Unfortunately, up until today, he has not used any weight because we do have some habits to correct, and there's no point in using a weight until he can train his body to move correctly. You'll notice here that he starts good, but then as soon as he goes to follow through with the lift, his hips come forward and he kicks that bar out. So we got to work on him bringing the bar in and getting tall and keeping it close. Here's Janice again, adding a little bit of weight. Here we go. Now, Gabe's one of our newer lifters here. Looks like he grabbed some pound plates.
Be aggressive in that extension,
I'm letting no more pound plates. Here you go. He's got kilo plates. So one of the things we worked on with Gabe in his first session with us was creating power with the hips. He was bringing the bar into the hips. He moves pretty well for being self-taught for the last 4 months, but there's some things that we can improve on, like getting more aggressive in his extension and letting the hips move the bar and not him pulling the bar into the hip and then overhead, which reduces the power output. Here's, let's see, Emmanuel with the bar here. This is his 4th session with us. He's just learning how to weight lift, so it's very basic with him. Today he didn't even go beyond the barbell. It's all about learning positions first before you get any weight on the bar. There we go. It's looking a little bit more explosive. We've got Nick in the white shirt in the back there. This is his 2nd session with me. The first session was more me just watching him lift. Now we're going to start working on some things to help him improve. He's actually doing his first weightlifting meet next weekend. So he was just getting ready today, going to his openers. One thing we decided is that his openers need to be a lot lower than he was hoping, because him and his buddy there in the black shirt, their goal is to, out total each other. However, I had to address that and say, hey, on your first meet, it's not about your total, it's about going 6 for 6. So now their new competition between each other is who can go 6 for 6, not who can get the best total. So I had him lower his opener a little bit just so we can work on going 6 for 6 instead of getting up on that platform and having no idea what to expect, because he's never done it before. You have no idea how your body's going to react to being on that platform. So there's no sense in risking too heavy of an opener and then having it be completely different than you expected. So that was actually a pretty good lift for Nick there. He's got the same issues that Mike has of getting hips into the bar as well as not fully extending, so the bar loops around. So gave him a couple cues today to work on, and he's starting to put it together. He did pretty good for his first time adjusting his technique there. But you'll see later on there's a few lifts where he kind of reverts back. Here I'm working with Janice. She has some questions about her jerk. They were going forward a little bit, so I'm kind of showing her what she was doing. All right, demonstrating now. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that we want to go straight down. Right, just like the power position. You'll see here her extension, she's actually dipping and then pushing her hips forward right there to get tall instead of driving through her heels and getting tall, right? We're going to drive. We want to keep the weight in the heels as we dip, and as we drive through, the follow through take us through the toes. But we need to get vertical. We need to push through the ground for that to happen. So we need to keep the weight back. I'll have her do a couple more lifts, and then one thing we end up doing is her stance was very narrow, which forced her knees forward. So we widened her jerk stance just a little bit to allow her knees to track out over the toes and keep the butt back. There we go. It may be before or after this lift here that we adjusted the feet. So you can see now this is the first time Mike's gotten to use weight since he started with us on the snatch. He's still having some issues here with those hips. He likes to drive them forward because that's what he's used to. So we go back and forth all session here. Alright, so there's Gabe letting that bar crash down on him. Here I'm advising him to push up on that bar when you catch it to avoid it pushing down on you. We actually had adjusted his grip out a little bit because it was coming off the thigh initially when he first came in. However, after watching his lifting, right here you'll see the bar, there he goes, he pushes up, but the bar is really low to his head and his arms are way out wide. So later on we adjusted it in just a hair. And so we're just going to play around with it a little bit and find that sweet spot where the bar can get into the hip all the way, but it's not too wide so he's in a stronger catch position and it's not crashing down on him like that. Here he is with 87. It's a nice lift. His best right now is about 102 with straps, although where he lifts, you know, the bars are in really bad shape, so there's no knurling on him, so he actually has to use straps. So it's good for him today to be able to use a bar where he can go strapless. Alright, now Janice is adjusting her feet there. Still a little forward. It's going to take some time, but we'll keep working on it. She's one of the lifters that doesn't get an opportunity to train with us full time, so you know, she doesn't always get coaching, so we just try and give her a couple tips each time she comes in to take back with her. Going over the dip, showing her how we can do jerk dips for practice where we just dip and drive and not actually bring the bar overhead, just so we can practice positioning of dipping and driving up with the bar on her shoulders. Something she can do on her own. Here we've got Safina in the back. She's one of our newer lifters. This is literally her 10th session doing weightlifting, and she moves really well. We started out with 5 one-on-one sessions, just teaching her the positions, not really using much weight. And this is about her. And then the last 5, we've started to just let her push the weight a little bit and just kind of see where her limits are. We don't fully max out, but there's a range where things start to fall apart, and so we stop there and then move on to the next lift here. So this is just what, 35 kilos, I believe. I'm working with her right now on the jerk. she was having issues with the bars hitting her collarbone on the drive, so it was feeling uncomfortable. So we were just kind of talking about it, and I was watching her. I was showing her there that you want to maintain upright elbows, that you don't want them to drop as you dip. She doesn't have that issue, but I'm just going over different scenarios that can cause that problem. Here I'm demonstrating some shoulder exercises, telling her to bulk up so she gets more cushion for that bar. And then I come back and say, well, you could always push the shoulders up a little bit on your dip to bring it off the collarbone so it doesn't bother you. Not that it's really going to affect the movement, but just personally, if it's bothering you, you're probably not going to lift your best if you're in pain. So, just giving her tips. That was Elvis there. He's getting ready for his first meet. He's having a little bit of issues with pain in his shoulders, and so his training's been a little off. He hasn't been able to really move right, and it's kind of affecting his positioning. We've done a lot of position work, and you'll see there, he's another one where he just likes to kick the bar out instead of get tall. So here I am working with Mike, trying to fix these issues. So he was really struggling to get this dip and drive position. So now I'm going over an exercise with him where we take the toes and put them over the edge of the platform, so that way he can feel when he's getting in his toes, because he wasn't feeling it at all. He had no idea. It all feels normal to him because that's what he's used to. So I want him to feel what it's like to be on your toes too early, since he wasn't really feeling it. So a little at the hips forward. He's just really struggling at that, but we'll keep working on it. It's starting to make more sense to him, so we're going to put him back on the bar, let him try it again after these drills here, and hopefully it helps him a little bit. It's definitely way easier to work with an athlete who has never lifted before or has very little experience, because they usually don't have bad habits, but when someone has been doing it on their own for a year, they have a lot of bad habits. Here's Sofina with a clean and jerk. She's doing really well. She's really taking the time to learn the positions, and it's all coming together for her. So here we've got Mike going again.
There we go.
So it's just going to take some time with him. We got to retrain him. We're going to keep it light. He's going to squat heavy. He's going to pull heavy, but we're going to do a lot of technique with him moving forward, so he can really relearn these positions correctly. His numbers are already great. He's at 130, 152 with the snatch, clean and jerk. So the goal is the American Open at the end of the year. All right, thanks for watching.